Welcome to Word on the Block. My name is Mike Howard. I'm the founder of AfroBlock, which is an investment firm and registered in the state of Texas. We're all about helping working class people secure their retirement to retire better and faster than they normally would be able to. But this show is it's our variety topic show. We discuss just various topics that are in the news and circulating around, and just provide a perspective and somewhat counter counterintuitive to the mainstream or some of the mainstream viewpoints that I feel like you see that are dominant in the that are dominant in the um, that are dominant in social media. So first is I saw a video on about the history of ranch dressing, oddly enough, and why are you talking about ranch? So in the video, they talk about like how it started. It was a black man in Alaska working in construction in Alaska, and he used to cook meals for the other construction workers. And he would, try different spices, try different recipes to spice things up. And one of the things he came up with was ranch dressing, and it was like a big success there. And then when he came back home in California, he and his wife like they bought like a bed and breakfast, and then they started making the ranch dressing there and selling out of there, and it became a huge success. So much to the point that like sometime in the 70s, Procter and Gamble actually came to him and bought it, I think for $8 million at the time. And $8 million in 1970, that's a good amount of change, especially for a black man. I'm not looking at it as like I'm not trying to wag a finger at at him for doing that. Because we don't know like what variables he was dealing with to make that decision. But it did bring to my mind like the the idea of like selling our businesses all the time, or I won't say all the time, or selling our businesses. It seems like more often than not, when a black entrepreneur creates a business, makes it successful, um, they just end up selling it. It ends up getting bought out by one of the bigger conglomerate or multinational corporations or whatever. And then, over time, it kind of follows the same the same like roadmap of the product quality starts to deteriorate. The ingredients change to lower quality ingredients, and sometimes that are harmful ingredients. And then it's almost like the other products that the company had before, just wrapped in a different wrapping to make you think that you're getting, a truly different product. And so that's what made me think about, or seeing that story made me think about this concept. And I think a lot of times what we see is there are typically in like the investing or finance space, people say, "Oh, it's just business," and you can't be mad about that. And I tend to disagree. I feel like if I was a customer of your business and I supported you, you know, when you were first starting, when you before you refined your product and before you refined all your processes, as a customer and a consumer, we liked, that product that we're given. We like supporting a black owned business. That was that was a large part of what drew us to that company. And then sometimes it's honestly just the fact that it was a product that aligned with the customer's needs perfectly, that wasn't offered anywhere else on the market. And then when that business is sold, yeah, you can be mad because it's like, well, how long before this is no longer how long will it be before they end up cutting this product or changing the product drastically to where it's not even the same thing anymore. And one thing I wanna like add to the, I guess, discussion is I think we sell our businesses and we have the conversation about selling business without really understanding what we're selling. I don't think we fully understand all the time what we possess with a successful Black-owned business. And it's more than just like the business in itself. When you have a business, especially when there's an actual product, it's actually being built. You have actual employees. I'm not talking about like the solopreneurs who it's just them, selling courses or doing hair or, them providing a single service to people. But you actually have products and a catalog of products and employees. That carries weight. Like you can say, like you can go to the politicians in your community and start actually get their ear because you're not just a regular voter now. Like you represent, a company that employs 100 people in the community. And so, what you say is going to weigh more than, what just the random homeowner in the community says. And it shouldn't be that way, but that's the reality. And then like you have the ability to influence them financially, which in America, that's the best one to have. Politicians are for sale in this country, and having a business allows you to access to buy them, frankly. So I think that one thing that I want us to see more is that, or I want us to realize when we have a business, is realize that it's more than just the products and service, that the influence and the opportunity to impact our community at a large scale, um, that comes through owning that business in a community. And then I feel like, and it's number two, I feel like it's somewhat short-sighted to sell when we sell our businesses. One of the examples or a recent example was Bumby and Trill Burgers. And, he was talking about selling his business, and like that was always his plan. And I think even it being just with a burger place, like why don't we think that, hey, you know what? I can take this burger spot and I can be the next McDonald's. I'm gonna take this burger idea and I'm gonna franchise it and we're gonna have chill burgers across the nation. And I'm gonna be, the next Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna be as successful as McDonald's. Like, why isn't that what we think about? And why is it that we don't think that we can lead that growth? Like I think an example is I think Fawn Weaver. I think she just acquired like another actually let me look this up. Yes, so Uncle Nearest, they just acquired Square One Organic Spirits. The hell is that? So she just acquired another alcohol company. They have a different they have a different like production style. It says it's farm to glass, and they'll introduce a new line of organic gluten-free spirits, and then their vodka will be rebranded. Um, Uncle Nearest also acquired Domaine Saint Martin, the French wine estate in Cognac last year. Okay, so like, why can't we have more stories like that where instead of us always being the company that sells to other companies that gets acquired, why can't we be the company doing the acquiring? Like, why can't we grow our companies? So like, I want to introduce that concept to the conversation of, like, let's not sell ourselves short and let's not have, short-sighted vision of just, build a business just to sell it, as soon as we can. Like, let's have a concept, or let's have the vision to say, hey, I can grow this business by acquiring other businesses and growing, the portfolio underneath the business. Um, so yeah, that's my second thought on it. And then one thing I think that's a very valid point is, so this like takes me back to talking about the ranch. We don't know the circumstances that he sold under. Maybe he didn't have any heirs. Maybe, so there wasn't really anybody that he would be able to pass the business on to. Um, we don't know, but uh, so we can address the the issue of generational. I don't want to say generational wealth, but like passing a business on to different generations. Typically speaking, a family business or a business that's ran by a family is going to be gone within 3 generations. So that means if you have a company, by the time your grandkids get it, it'll be gone, or your grandkids will be the last ones to have it. And I think it gives the opportunity to look at the problem, and this is across like all races. This isn't just like in the Black community. I think there's an opportunity to look at things, or I guess to act in a different way, in a sense where we can say, hey, instead of me kind of having this like solopreneur model, why don't I bring in my kid and start teaching them about my business, and not necessarily in a way that, oh, I'm telling you you're gonna run the business, but just so that they have an awareness of what it takes, especially if like this is how you're paying your bill, this is if this business is providing your lifestyle. So they have an understanding of what it takes to run the business, what it takes to, keep the lights on. I think just having building that capacity, that will that will lead to at least them being capable of, inheriting a business and actually running it properly. Um, Not to say that, they have to or that they will. And it might be one of the things where like they go off to college, they explore their other careers and have other options and all this. And then like, maybe 20 years down the road, damn dogs outside, maybe 20 years down the road, then they come back and say, hey, I really wanted to step in and help lead the company or help run the company with mom and dad or whatever. I think so. I think that's one option that we as a community don't really enact, or we don't really implement too often. It's most of the times it's my company, and we keep our company and our children like completely separate, um, just for whatever reason. But I think finding ways to incorporate your kids into the running of your business, that'll help them build the capacity to run it in the future. And then another option is, we growing our business to a point to where we hire a CEO. And so like um it's not even dependent on like our kids or our family members inheriting the business and running it properly. We can make them board members, or just keep the ownership within the family. Like that's another option, and just like hire a CEO, hire executives to run it. Those, I think those type of arrangements will help us keep our businesses successful for longer, for more than one generation. So yeah, those were the thoughts I had on the issue. I kind of I brought it up because I was really like surprised to learn that a black dude invented ranch, and then I looked it up, and ranch the global ranch sauce market is $55 billion in 2023. So $55 billion worth of ranch was bought on the planet. And until and it didn't exist until like 1960. And then I looked up, what would it look like if he had invested that entire $8 million from that point in the 1970s to now. So I just put in this calculator, it only goes up to 48 years. I don't know why. But I just put 9%, 48 years, you're looking at $591 million. So even if like he would have done something smart with the money, because we don't know the backstory or the second part of that story, he still would have been that's 100x. That's not a 10x, that's 100x. Um, yeah, and so I feel like this is a lesson to learn or a lesson to provide some perspective from for other business owners. Like, don't feel like you have to sell your business. If you invented something and put it into the world, give it a chance. Like, see how far you can take it. Um, and then like we don't always have to sell all of the entire company. I think Mark Cuban he's an example. Mark Cuban, Jay-Z often does this too. Like I think whenever Jay-Z sells a company, like he keeps, like a small percentage of it instead of just selling the whole thing. And he no longer has like control of the company, but he's selling it to grow it. And then he's gonna benefit from that growth just from having a small percentage of it. And Mark Cuban, like when he sold the Mavs, he didn't sell like all of it. I think he still has like 27% of the ownership, which is a substantial amount. And his logic, I don't 100% agree with. But he was like, sports arenas are moving towards the like compound model. I don't even want to say compound, like a district model. So where now when you have a sports arena, you have a hotel attached to it, you have a casino if it's allowed in the state attached to it, you have, you know, uh theme park attached to it. And he said like sports arenas are now becoming like larger real estate projects than what I care to do or what I have the the ability or the knowledge to do. He's like, I don't have any I think he said he don't have any real estate in his portfolio. And I understand I can understand that, but in the same sense, to me, it's like, well, why does that have to be the case? Why does every new stadium have to get a hotel? Like, I think people in Dallas, we just want the American Airlines not to leak when it rains. Like, you can build a newer, bigger stadium, like, cool, but it doesn't have to be this massive project that includes, you know, Nebraska Furniture Mart, Costco, hotel. Like, it doesn't have to have all that. Um, and if that's the norm for other sports stadiums, then like, let that be the norm for them. Like, it don't have to be that way for each and every one. And I don't, because I don't think the Mavericks fans gave a shit that you know I don't think Mavs fans care to have a new stadium that has all the other extra stuff with it. Um, so yeah, just going back to the thought of when you sell a company, you don't have to sell the entire all of it. Um, yeah, those are just some examples of what that looks like to retain some amount of ownership when you after you sell a company.